What if some of the things you want most in life aren't entirely yours? The career you believe you need, the income you think will finally make you feel secure, the house that will prove you've made it, the approval you still want, even the person you believe you're supposed to become. We experience these things as personal choices, my goals, my ambitions, my life. But the human mind doesn't develop in isolation. Long before you were old enough to define success, you were already learning what success looked like. You noticed what made your parents proud, what disappointed them, which people were respected, which choices were called responsible. Later, you began comparing your life with carefully selected versions of other people's lives. And somewhere along the way, the line between what you truly wanted and what you learned to want became harder to see. So here's the uncomfortable question. When you say, "This is what I want," who is actually speaking? Tonight, we're going beneath the surface of desire. Not to tell you what you should want, but to understand how the mind learns what to want in the first place. Welcome to the Hidden Mind Radio. The mind hides more than you think. Let's begin with Daniel. Daniel is 44. He works in management for a financial services company. He earns a good salary, has a retirement account, a house outside Denver, a wife, and 2 children. By most standards, he's doing well. Daniel isn't miserable. Nothing is obviously wrong. But for years, he's felt something difficult to describe. A quiet distance between himself and the life he's living. He keeps working, achieving, moving forward, but he rarely asks where he's going. Then one Tuesday evening, Daniel is answering emails at the kitchen counter when his 16-year-old daughter walks in. "Dad?" "Yeah? What do you actually like doing?" Daniel looks up. "What do you mean? When you're not working, what do you do just because you enjoy it?" Daniel tries to answer. Nothing comes out. The conversation lasts less than a minute. But the question stays. What do you actually like doing? Daniel looks around the kitchen, the remodeled countertops, the expensive refrigerator. Everything represents progress. Everything is something he once believed he wanted. Yet he can't answer one simple question. What does he enjoy when nobody needs anything from him? This is where the psychology begins. Human beings learn not only from what people tell us, but from how they react to us. Imagine a child brings home excellent grades. His parents light up. They praise him. They show pride. The child doesn't simply learn that good grades are useful. He may learn something deeper. Achievement brings attention. Achievement brings approval. Achievement makes the people I love happy. Now imagine that child becomes interested in something his family considers impractical. Nobody needs to tell him his interests don't matter. A worried expression can be enough. A disappointed silence can be enough. The mind remembers reactions. Over time, external reactions become internal rules. Be successful. Don't disappoint people. Choose something safe. Make people proud. Eventually, nobody needs to say these things anymore. The rules have moved inside. That's why your inner voice isn't always entirely yours. Sometimes what feels like ambition contains echoes from years ago. Daniel grew up with a father who valued financial security. His father had experienced instability, so a stable career meant safety. Get a good job. Build something solid. Take care of your family. His father wasn't trying to control him. He was trying to protect him. But children don't only inherit advice. They can inherit the emotional meaning attached to it. For Daniel, success became connected to safety. Safety became connected to responsibility. At 27, he chose a safer, better-paying job over one that interested him more. Then came a promotion. then another. Every achievement reinforced the same equation. Progress means success. Success means security. Security means I'm doing life correctly. But approval can eventually become something deeper. Identity. At first, work was something Daniel did. Eventually, it became part of who Daniel was. Daniel the manager, Daniel the provider, Daniel the reliable one. And the stronger that identity became, the harder it became to question his career, because questioning the job no longer felt like questioning a job. It felt like questioning himself. This is one of the hidden forces behind desire. Sometimes we're not chasing a goal because we still want the goal. We're chasing it because we don't know who we'd be without it. Then there's another powerful force: comparison. You can feel satisfied with your salary until you discover someone your age earns twice as much. You can love your house until you start looking at larger houses online. You can feel proud of your career until an old classmate announces a major promotion. Nothing about your actual life changed. Your reference point changed. Social media intensifies this because we're comparing our ordinary lives with selected moments from other people's lives, their promotion, their vacation, their new home, their biggest achievement, and suddenly enough doesn't feel like enough. Daniel knows this feeling. One more promotion, a little more savings, pay down the mortgage, then I'll relax. But the finish line keeps moving, because when success is measured through comparison, someone will always appear further ahead. Then Daniel meets an old college friend named Marcus. Marcus left corporate work and now runs a small woodworking business with his brother. He earns less than Daniel and drives an older truck. Yet when Marcus talks about his work, Daniel feels something uncomfortable: jealousy. Marcus describes a table he's building, the wood, the design, the problems he's solving. His face changes. He becomes engaged, alive. Daniel realizes he doesn't want Marcus's truck, income, or business. He wants the way Marcus seems to feel inside his own life. Jealousy can become destructive, but it can also contain information. Maybe you envy someone who travels constantly. Perhaps you don't want their vacations. You want freedom. Maybe you envy someone who left a prestigious career. Perhaps you don't want their job. You want control over your time. Instead of asking, why do they have something I don't? Ask, what exactly am I reacting to? The object of jealousy and the need beneath it are not always the same. This brings us to intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation comes from money, status, recognition, praise, and approval. Intrinsic motivation comes from interest, curiosity, enjoyment, mastery, and meaning. Real life contains both. The problem isn't that money or status matter. The question is whether external rewards have become so dominant that you've lost contact with your internal signals. Years ago, Daniel restored old furniture. He never made money from it. Nobody praised him for it. He simply enjoyed it. An unfinished chair had been sitting in his garage for 9 years. One Saturday, Daniel pulls it out and spends 3 hours working on it. No emails, no audience, no reward. For the first time in a long time, he isn't asking whether what he's doing is productive. He's simply absorbed. This doesn't mean woodworking is his true calling. It means Daniel is remembering what internally motivated attention feels like. There's another trap: past investment. I've spent 15 years building this career. I've sacrificed too much. I can't change now. Psychology often describes this pattern through the sunk cost effect. We allow what we've already invested to influence what we continue choosing, even when the past can't be recovered. Continuing doesn't recover yesterday. It only determines tomorrow. A better question is, if I were choosing today, knowing what I know now, would I still choose this? Daniel doesn't quit his job. He doesn't sell his house or abandon his responsibilities. Instead, he starts paying attention. He protects some time from work. He spends more time with his family. He returns to activities he'd forgotten. Then another promotion appears. More money, more status, but also more travel, pressure, and less control over his time. 5 years earlier, Daniel would have accepted immediately. This time, he asks a different question. What will this give me, and what will it cost me? For the first time, success becomes a trade-off rather than an automatic good. He turns the promotion down. Not because ambition is bad, because this opportunity no longer fits what he values. So, how do you understand what you actually want? Ask yourself, if nobody knew I achieved this, would I still want it? What exactly am I jealous of? Freedom, respect, time, security, connection? What am I afraid would happen if I stopped pursuing this goal? Would I lose something real, or would I lose an identity? If I were making this decision for the first time today, would I still choose it? And finally, if my life remained fundamentally the same for the next 10 years, how would I feel? Same work, same habits, same evenings, same priorities. Does that future feel peaceful or strangely heavy? Maybe knowing what you want isn't about discovering one perfect version of yourself. People change. A dream can once have been genuine and still stop fitting you. The deeper goal is awareness, to recognize the forces operating underneath your choices: security, status, belonging, approval, autonomy, fear, meaning. None of them is automatically bad. The problem begins when one controls your life without your awareness. You may call it ambition when underneath it is fear. You may call it responsibility when underneath it is a need for approval. Psychological awareness doesn't tell you exactly what choice to make. It helps you see what is making the choice. So tonight, don't redesign your entire life. Just ask yourself, which parts of my life did I consciously choose? Which parts did I simply inherit? Whose approval am I still trying to earn? And if nobody were watching, what would still matter? Sometimes the first sign that you've touched something important isn't certainty. It's discomfort, because the mind can spend years protecting an identity before it allows you to question who built it. This is the Hidden Mind Radio, where we explore the psychological forces hiding beneath human behavior. Until next time, remember, the mind hides more than you think.